Hunter Biden alleged to have used the N-word according to his laptop. And some of you are probably hearing this from me for the first time because it has not received very much media attention. In fact, the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, the Washington Post, your usual conglomerate of quote-unquote left-wing media have elected not to cover this. And I want to start with this question. I oftentimes get criticized because what I want more than anything else is consistency. I think about stories as if I am a judge, and I want to apply a consistent precedent regardless of race, religion, gender, ethnicity, party, Republican, Democrat, whatever you might be. I want to apply the same standards to you that have been applied elsewhere. And what I frequently see is that's not occurring. And this Hunter Biden story is fascinating. So I want to start with this question. What would the media coverage look like if one of Donald Trump's children had been using the N-word in text message and it had gone public and they had been caught doing so? I think all of you out there would say that it would have been a massive story. Donald Trump would have been asked about it at press conferences. It would be on the front page of newspapers. It would be evidence of Trump's racism, the systemic white privilege that exists in the Trump universe, all of that. Yet Hunter Biden does it, and most of the media remains quiet. Why is that? Particularly in light of three different, to me, intriguing precedents where the exact opposite happened. Morgan Wallen, country music singer, used the N-word in a non-racist manner, by which I mean it's not like somebody was caught screaming a racial slur, intending it to be offensive based on the racial slur. And country music stations stopped playing his music. He's still not able to go on tour. He basically has had to go into hiding ever since that video of him went public. Kyle Larson was doing an eye race when he uttered the N-word while playing a video game. Once that happened, Kyle Larson was not able to race for an entire year. He lost all of his sponsors, and he was forced to vanish. Mimi Groves, a lot of you may not remember her. 15-year-old girl from Loudoun County, Virginia, who when she got a driver's license, made a Snapchat video of herself celebrating that driver's license, sent it to her friends using the N-word. One of her classmates saved that video for 3 years. When she was admitted, Mimi Groves, to the University of Tennessee and was going to be allowed to be a cheerleader, that classmate released the video. The University of Tennessee cheerleading squad dismissed her, and then the University of Tennessee did not allow her to enroll. The New York Times wrote a front page story about Mimi Groves. How is it that the New York Times can justify a front page story on a 15-year-old high school girl in a Snapchat video, but they're not covering the President of the United States' son and his use of the N-word? Now, I don't believe in cancel culture. I think context matters. I think the idea that we have to slam the door, take the key, and lock someone away forever because of something inappropriate they've done in their past is wrong. I think cancel culture is wrong. I think we need to consider people within the context of their entire lives as opposed to whatever viral moment might end up defining them. I think it's one of many things that social media gets wrong. But if you're going to set the precedent with Morgan Wallen, with Kyle Larson, Morgan Wallen in country music, Kyle Larson in NASCAR, and this 15-year-old high school girl, Mimi Groves, that context doesn't matter and that you need to be canceled if you are caught using the N-word, how in the world can the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, and CNN not justify covering this story? The precedent has been set. If you are not going to cover this story, the message that you are sending is clear and transparent and bright as day, and that is this. If your politics are the right side, then the media will give you a pass no matter how egregious your behavior might be. And what offends me about this idea is it completely distorts the purposes of justice and media fairness. It is transparent bias at its most explicit nature. And so there's no way to justify Hunter Biden as an adult being ignored by the New York Times while a 15-year-old high school girl is a front-page New York Times story over a 3-second Snapchat video. Think about it. I'm not arguing for any one side or the other. I'm just arguing for sanity and a clear and specific standard to be applied regardless of your race, your gender, your ethnicity, your sexuality, your religion, or your political beliefs. I want everyone held to the same standard. And by the way, I think it should be a forgiving standard. I am not of the belief that everyone should be judged by their worst moment in life. In fact, in the case of Mimi Groves and many other teenagers like her, we specifically elect not to hold minors responsible for crimes very often that they commit as teenagers. Why would we hold kids responsible for social media mistakes when they are juveniles? And yet, if they had robbed a store, we would allow that to be expunged and not follow them for the rest of their lives. I want the standard to be the same for everyone. To me, this Hunter Biden story is a flagrant example of bias that exists every day in the media, and it's why so many people don't trust many aspects of the media today, because it's not about the truth. It's about whether or not the story fits the narrative. Speaking of the story fitting the narrative,